There is a payment worth up to £300 landing in pensioners' bank accounts this winter. And there's a date, just weeks away now, that decides whether you get it or not. That date is the 27th of September. And here's the frightening part. If you fall into a certain group and you don't act before that week, you could lose the whole thing, not have it reduced, lose it entirely for this winter. Now, most people have heard something about the winter fuel payment, and most people are horribly confused about it, and that's not your fault. The rules have been changed, then changed again, then partly reversed, all in the space of a couple of years. First, it was taken away from millions, then it was given back, then a new income rule was bolted on. So it's no wonder that right now, millions of pensioners genuinely do not know if they're getting it this year, how much they'll get, or whether they need to do anything at all. And that confusion is exactly where people slip through the cracks and miss out on money they were entitled to. So today, I'm going to clear the whole thing up, once and for all. I'll tell you exactly who gets it this winter, how much, £200 or £300, the one date that fixes your eligibility, and most importantly, the group of people who will not get it automatically and must take action before that September window closes. Because if that's you, and you do nothing, you're leaving up to £300 on the table. But stay with me, because you have to understand how the payment now works before you can tell whether you're at risk. My name's Robert. Let's get into it. So let's start by clearing up what the winter fuel payment actually is in 2026, because it's not what it was even 2 years ago. The winter fuel payment is a tax-free lump sum from the government, paid once a year to help older people with their heating bills over the cold months. It's not a loan, it's not something you pay back. For most people, it's simply money to help keep you warm. And it's worth having. Depending on your age and circumstances, it's either £200 or £300 this winter. For a pensioner on a fixed income, watching the energy bills climb, that is real, meaningful money. Now here's where the confusion came from, and I want to walk you through it slowly, because understanding this is the key to knowing where you stand. For years and years, this payment went to every single pensioner household, automatically, no questions asked. Then a couple of years ago, the government suddenly restricted it. You could only get it if you were on pension credit or certain other benefits. And overnight, millions of pensioners who'd always received it were cut off. There was a huge outcry. So the government partly reversed course. And now, for this winter, we're in a new position, a sort of middle ground. The payment has been widened again. So far, more pensioners get it than in that restricted year. But, and this is the new twist, there's now an income limit attached with the money clawed back from higher earners. So it's neither the old everybody gets it system, nor the harsh almost nobody gets it system. It's a new set of rules, and you need to know exactly where you fit. Let me show you why that September date matters so much. Here's the thing that catches people out more than anything else, and it's the reason for that deadline in the title. Your eligibility is frozen based on one single week, and that week is the 21st to the 27th of September. The government calls this the qualifying week, and it works like a photograph. Whatever your circumstances are during that 1 week, your age, where you live, which benefits you're on, that's the snapshot they use to decide whether you get the winter fuel payment and how much. It doesn't matter what changes the day after. That week is the moment that counts. So the 27th of September isn't a random date. It's the end of the week that locks in your entitlement for the whole winter. And this is where it gets serious, because that snapshot creates traps. Think about it. If something about your situation isn't in order during that week, if you're not on a benefit you should be claiming, or the paperwork isn't sorted, the photograph gets taken with you outside the frame and you miss out. And once that week has passed, it's passed. You can't go back and change the picture. The other reason this date matters so much this year is age. Because the state pension age is rising, the government has confirmed that to qualify for this winter, you generally need to have been born on or before the 27th of June 1960. If your birthday falls even slightly after that, you may just miss the cut for this winter because you won't have reached state pension age in time. So, date of birth and that September week together decide everything, which brings us to the most important question of all. Are you someone who gets this automatically, or are you someone who has to act? Let me show you. Right after this. Before I show you exactly who needs to take action and what to check, one quick thing for those of you who'd rather have all of this written down, in plain English, to keep and refer back to. Everything I cover on this channel, the winter fuel payment, pension credit, the state pension, attendance allowance, council tax help, the tax traps, and the forms and deadlines that catch people out. I've put into one plain English guide the UK Pensioner Survival Playbook for 2026 and 2027. No jargon, nothing complicated. If you'd like it by your side, the link is in the description below at robertretires.com/UK. That's it. Now, let me show you who gets the winter fuel payment automatically, and the group who absolutely must take action before that September week or lose it. So here's the reassuring part, and I want to say it clearly because it'll calm a lot of nerves. For the great majority of pensioners, you do not need to do anything at all. The winter fuel payment will simply arrive in your bank account automatically, usually in November or December, paid straight into the same account where your state pension already lands. If you were born on or before the 27th of June 1960, you normally live in England, Wales or Northern Ireland, and you already receive your state pension, then in almost all cases this is handled for you. You don't lift a finger. A letter usually arrives in October or November telling you how much you're getting, and then the money follows. So if that's you, you're on the state pension, you've had this payment before, nothing unusual about your situation, you can relax. It's coming. And how much? Here's the simple breakdown. If you're under 80, you'll generally get £200. If you're 80 or over, specifically born before the 28th of September 1946, you get the higher amount, £300. There are a few situations, like being in a care home or where only one partner in a couple claims the joint benefit, where the amount can be reduced. But for most households, it's a straightforward £200 or £300. So for most of you, the message is it's automatic, it's coming, and now you know how much to expect. But, and this is the whole point of today's video, there is a group for whom it is not automatic. And if you're in that group and you assume it'll just turn up, it won't. Let me show you exactly who needs to act. Here it is. The part I really need you to pay attention to, because this is where people lose up to £300 without realising. There are two main groups who will not be paid automatically and must make a claim themselves. The first group, anyone who is eligible but has never received the winter fuel payment before. This catches people who've only recently reached state pension age or whose circumstances have changed. If the government has never paid you this before, they may not have you set up in the system to pay you automatically. So the money won't come unless you claim it. If you think you now qualify but you've never had it, you cannot just sit and wait. You have to put in a claim. The second group, anyone who has deferred their state pension. If you chose to put off taking your state pension and you're therefore not currently drawing it, then the automatic payment, which is tied to your state pension, may not reach you. So deferrers, this is a real trap. You may be perfectly entitled, but because you're not drawing your pension, you can slip through the net. You'll likely need to claim manually to get what you're owed. So how do you act? It's simple and it's free. There's a dedicated winter fuel payment centre you can phone to make a claim or get a form sent to you. The number is 0800 731 0160, open Monday to Friday. You give them your details, including your national insurance number, and they sort it out. Claims for this winter can be made from that September qualifying week onwards. So if you're in either of those two groups, never had it before, or you've deferred your pension, please make that call. Don't assume. A 5-minute phone call could be worth £300. Now, two more things you must understand because they change the picture for a lot of people. The first is the income rule, the clawback. The second is a lifeline that most people completely overlook. Let's start with the clawback because this is the big new rule. This winter, the payment goes out widely, but if your individual taxable income is over £35,000 a year, the government takes it back. You still receive the £200 or £300 first, but then HMRC claws it back from you, usually by adjusting your tax code or through your self-assessment if you file one. Now, notice the key word there, individual income. It's based on each person's income separately, not the households combined. So in a couple, one of you might be over the line and one under, and this $35,000 includes your state pension, private pensions, any earnings and savings interest above your allowance. So if you're comfortably under $35,000, you keep every penny. If you're over, expect it to be reclaimed. And there's now even an option to opt out entirely, if you'd rather not receive it and have it clawed back later. But here's the lifeline. The most valuable thing I'll tell you today, and it's the one people miss. Pension credit. If you're on pension credit, you are protected. You get the winter fuel payment and you keep it, regardless of that $35,000 rule. But it's far bigger than that. Pension credit itself is worth on average around £3,000 to £4,000 a year. It's a gateway to all sorts of other help. Council tax reductions, help with your rent, a free TV licence if you're over 75, and hundreds of thousands of pensioners who are entitled to it never claim it. So if your income is low and you're not on pension credit, please check whether you qualify. Claiming it before the September qualifying week could not only protect your winter fuel payment, it could unlock thousands of pounds more. It is the single most underclaimed benefit for older people in this country. Now, before I let you go, the honest fine print and the practical steps, because with a deadline this close, acting clearly matters. First, a note for my Scottish viewers. If you live in Scotland, the rules are different. Scotland now runs its own version called the Pension Age Winter Heating Payment through the Scottish Government. So the specifics I've given for England and Wales won't all apply to you. Check the Scottish scheme directly. Second, the rules around this payment have changed repeatedly, and figures and thresholds can be adjusted. So always confirm the current position on the official gov.uk website, or by calling that Winter Fuel Payment Centre. Don't rely on what a neighbour told you last year, because last year's rules may not be this year's. And third, here's your simple action plan for right now, this week. If you're on the state pension and you've had this payment before, relax. It's automatic. Just watch for your letter. If you've never had it or you've deferred your pension, phone that centre and claim. And if your income is low and you're not on pension credit, check your pension credit eligibility immediately. You can do that on gov.uk or by calling the pension service, and it could be worth thousands, as well as protecting this payment. The one thing you must not do is assume. That September week is the line in the sand, and it's nearly here. So let's bring it home. The winter fuel payment this winter is worth £200 if you're under 80, or £300 if you're 80 or over. For most pensioners on the state pension, it's automatic. But if you've never claimed before, or you've deferred your pension, you must act or you'll lose it. Your eligibility is frozen by the qualifying week of the 21st to the 27th of September, so the time to sort it is now, not later. If you earn over $35,000, expect it clawed back. And if your income is low, check pension credit, because it protects this payment and can unlock thousands more. If this has cleared things up for you, do me a favour and share it with another pensioner or someone who helps an older parent. With that September deadline so close, this could genuinely put money in their pocket. Hit subscribe for more, and if you'd like it all written down in one place, the Pensioner Survival Playbook link is in the description. I'm Robert. Look after yourselves, keep warm this winter, and I'll see you in the next one.